Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today I will have game one of Lone Wolf, the epic showdown between myself and Tom Robinson. So it's going to be a great one. I do apologize because I did not take pictures during our game, which thankfully I didn't because I was running out of clock anyway. So we're going to be using the live stream footage and going through that for the view of the game. So hopefully this works out, but apologize for the quality isn't there with the pictures that I normally take. So. But anyway, let's jump into Tom's list and the scenario, and we'll go from there. So, Tom is playing Northern Alliance. He's got two regiments of his pack hunters, three hordes of ice elementals, one of them having the fire oil, three snow foxes, two ice queens, fully kitted out, surge and heal on both, bane chant on one with the fire heart amulet, and Conjurer's Staff on the other one. Three Snow Troll Primes, one of them having Trickster's Wand. And then he took the formation for those hard hitting half elf berserker troops. And the Frostclaw Regiment with the Ice Bomb upgrade. So he's got 16 drops and 23 unit strength. If you want to take a look at my list, go ahead and check out my preview video. I covered it all there. So the scenario we're playing here, zoom in a little bit, is says the moon's gone. So for those that maybe don't get that, we had the the solar eclipse, excuse me, recently that went straight over Texas. So Mark likes to add new scenarios every year and give them fun names. So but for this one, effectively, it's a kill scenario. So you get additional victory points based off how much of your opponent you killed in the victory point differential. So, but it also gave us some uniquely good upgrades for our Lone Wolf and Lone Rangers. So, deployment wise, we got an extra couple inches, so 14-inch deployment instead of our normal 12. The power of the moon buffs up our wolf and ranger, so each one of them gaining +1 speed, +2 attacks, and everything else is the same. They are also count as 200 victory points in this game, so we're effectively playing a 2,500 point game. And they gain Aura Spell Ward, which impacts friendly and enemy units. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that. I thought it was only just a spell ward that was impacting friendly units as normal. But anyway, I don't think it would have changed much in our matchup. So yeah, basically you need over 100 points for it to be an 11-9, and then scaling from there. And then the strategic objectives. So there's always a little bit of a bonus objective for Lone Wolf scenarios. 150 points if you kill your opponent's least expensive unit. 150 points if you kill all the inspiring units. And 75 points for keeping your least expensive unit alive. So the least expensive unit is a pretty key factor in this game here. And there's a good old picture of Tom and I. So this was actually after day one. We were hanging out, playing some games. Tom was sleep deprived and heavily drinking. So that's why I look a little bit better than him at this point. So anyway, let's go ahead, jump into the game here. So deployment wise, I will be my EoD is actually at the top, and Tom's going to be on the bottom of the screen here. Terrain wise, impassable pieces are this big one in the top center, bottom center, and then far right over here that was also impassable. There are two hills on the right hand side here, a forest in the middle with a forest in my deployment zone, a flat pond. obstacle here and obstacle there. So I'll be honest, this was a scenario I don't think I wanted to see. Uh, Kill into Tom's list. His list definitely wants people to come in to engage him, and then he has, Surge Shenanigans. He has the Snow Troll Primes for flanking potentials. He has the secondary line with the Half Elf Berserkers. He has a good chaff. Like Tom has a little bit of everything that really deters people from going straight at him, but then he also outranges me. And to win this game, he effectively would only need to shoot out a troop of or a regiment of my skeleton spearmen, and he could just walk away after that. So I felt obligated to go at Tom for this game. I would have much rather seen a scenario play game, but yeah, we don't always get what we want. So deployment wise, though, I'll go ahead and start with my deployment. On the far left, I have a regiment of spears. I have enslaved guardians behind them. This is the one with brutal. I have Shobik over here on the left. My horde of skeletons with the monolith behind them. I have my bone giant regiment of mummies, behind which I have my soul snare. I forgot. Sebic Ray is behind the bone giant as well. I have a troop of mummies, or a horde of my Jade Boot enslaved guardians, regiment of spears with my least expensive unit being my Revenant champion, sitting out here on the far right of my line, and then two scavengers in the back with my wolf in the back. They were just cheap early drops that I decided to put out there. My wolf is much faster than the rest of the army, so he can run up here and get along in the battle line wherever I need him. So I just wanted to see where I would need him. Tom lined up straight across me, so we're gonna be in for a good old bloody battle here. So he's got a pack hunter regiment on the far left, Snow Troll Prime here. He's got three guard ice elementals. The one on the far right of his line has the fire oil. I don't know if it ever really came up though. He has his two troop of half elves in behind them. Snow Troll with the Hex item is on the right flank of that line, and then two of his Snow Foxes here. Last Snow Troll Prime on this side of the Impassable Snow Foxes, Pack Hunters, and then the Ice Birds out on the far right. So, yeah, he's got a good defensive position. We got to go try and dig him out is the game plan. So I have, you know, he's going to get a turn of shooting no matter what. So we'll just have to weather that storm effectively. So I did because he has multiple units of the same value. I get to nominate one of them to be my objective or primary objective for the game. I nominated the one on the far left here to be the one I'm trying to kill. So yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm not going to just watch the video. I'm going to be fast forwarding. Also, it's going to jump between my game on table 1 with Tom and table 2 between Paul Welsh and Ryan Smith. So I just start by pushing forward everything as aggressively as possible, except for the right flank over here. So I'm going to just kind of go here. So it looks like this would be the beginning of Tom's turn. So, like I said, push forward aggressively, got my birds in position to jump over. I am in range. My goal here, effectively, with measuring, this horde is in range of all 3 of his hordes, but that is the only thing all 3 of them can focus on. Oh, I also forgot his ranger is sitting here in between his units. Otherwise, he can only get 2 of his hordes against this bone giant or these 2 hordes against Shobik. And I think I only gave him one horde against the mummies here. So it was one of those things where I didn't want to give him just complete freedom of what to shoot at. So I did limit that in some way. Everything else moved up pretty much as aggressively as possible here. My wolf is sitting behind the forest because I'm not sure if I'm going to need him to protect my flanks from him turning these units in and around, because I do want to just kind of crash in against the wall of ice elementals here. So I don't know exactly where I'll need him yet. So he's still kind of rovering. I did run up the Revenant character over here to this side of the hill. Just wanted again to make sure he couldn't come around. So funneling him towards the center. um, but also just kind of he's behind the hill, so kind of playing chicken with Tom if he wants to charge in with the regiment of birds and then try to follow up. This guy is actually worth quite a bit of points being with the scenario. So yeah, so just kind of giving Tom some options. But I think the only other real key thing to shout out is I ran the Soul Snare onto this side of the Guardians. So I want to try to get some shooting either out here, but I also just want to avoid getting hexed. He can also turn back in and come towards the center and start shooting here if I need it. But I think his positioning, as far as offensive output, is in a good spot and then can't be hexed. But I really know I'm going to need the heal on the left side of my lines over here. So yeah, so Tom gets to go, and yeah, they're switching. So we're gonna go over here. So this is after Tom's turn one. He, as you can see, he picked up the horde with shooting, which he focused everything at. So I am honestly very happy with that horde. Wasn't gonna really be doing anything for me effectively for like killing him or anything like that. So I'm perfectly fine with that horde just dying um, uh, in order to allow me to get into the combat here. So Tom kind of spread out a little bit wider with his snow trolls, putting them in position to flank whatever comes in here. His pack hunters stayed put. They also shot at the horde. Um, but yeah, he just kind of repositioned a little bit here. He ran forward pretty aggressively with this snow troll over on the right. I think and he moved up and shot these guys here over the hill with cover and around the hill with these guys. So um, kind of expected that he was going to be trying to target this flank. If he shoots this off, then he can really focus in on crashing the flank. So um, yeah, so at this point, I'm looking at a couple of different options. I actually take a good amount of time here on the top of two. Um, really, oh, and a big thing is he failed to hex my monolith this turn with his trickster's one. So I have a good amount of options of what I want to do with my surge. One of the big ones I was looking at is Tom didn't keep an even line with his ice elementals. So you'll see that this horde is actually kind of poking out. So I can actually get into the flank of this horde. And Shobik would be uh, the key unit to do that. It's a good ways away. He also shot Shobik to freeze him, so he's only speed 6 here. Um, so it's not reliable in my mind. I think I was going to need like a 7 or 8 inches of surge with the right angle and everything to get into the flank there. But then even 20 attacks on threes and twos isn't reliably going to kill this horde. So I'd have to probably bring in the Bone Giant into the front as well. But it just leaves up so many units that are unanswered. So I ended up ultimately deciding on this Snow Troll Prime on this end of the forest. Can't be seen by anything, but I have enslaved guardians with J boots right here. And I felt that protecting my flank and then just engaging into the front over here which is holding up, a lot of his units, was the right way to go. So eventually, like I said, it took me a while to do it here, but we'll see how that ended up. So this, oh, I haven't even finished. So, but I decided to engage on this end of the board. I also decided that my individual wasn't needed to charge in, so I'm getting into a position here. It allows me to threaten his back lines at this rate, while also potentially coming back over on this side of the board. So, um, so yeah, I just wanted to kind of play it a little slow. I didn't need the dread. I didn't need the cloak of death that he could potentially do. So, um, yeah, so I just did that. So you'll see me, I'm trying to get the appropriate angle, so that way I'm running past my troop, but still going to connect with his flank. So 6 inches, and then I need another 5 or 6 inches between both of my caster as well as the monolith. So, and then this obstacle was being a pain, so this wood base was where I actually was there. So yeah, this was the final, and you'll even see into the combat. So I did kill the um, snow troll, and everything else just kind of stuck here. So I just blocked up for flanks and everything. One thing think that Tom could have done here was the Snow Troll Prime could get into the flank of this unit, but you'll see Tom did a really smart move here instead, utilizing his army's ability to shoot and shoot. Um, so yeah, I was pretty happy with the engagements here. These scavengers are actually pretty tanky. They're not guaranteed to be killed by any means. Um, I do have to mention I used my tournament reroll because I rolled Snake Eyes after dealing 16 damage to the Snow Troll Prime in the flank. So turn two and we're out of our reroll. So, but we're in a pretty decent position. Um, I'm not I'm not too upset with where we're at this point. So we did a decent amount of damage. I think Shovik did like 7 damage. Bone Giant did like 4 or 5, which is pretty average. So um, yeah. So again, not the worst thing in the world here. And then we have some follow up coming in. Uh, I wish I had the surge to be able to get these guardians into a better position, but um, thus is life. So yeah, Tom comes in, and effectively, what's happening here is he already did the move, but while they were switched over, but he backed off an inch with both of these units. Not a withdraw, just a back. And then this unit that my scavengers failed to do a single wound to was able to shoot into my giant. So he was able to get an extra volley of shooting and then come back in and with the surge after the fact. So very good move by Tom. His Lone Ranger is running up here and ended up shooting back at my guy as well. So it's a substantial amount of shooting, um, and then he's just trying to pick off the chaff piece over here. So you'll see he does pick up the giant, which isn't unrealistic there. So he turns so that way it's flush, so that Shobik doesn't have any opportunities here. Um, yeah, so at this point, I definitely did not want to be losing a giant. Turn one, that's annoying. He did waver these scavengers instead of killing them, I believe. Uh, or no, maybe he didn't waver, but either way. And then Tom didn't realize that our rangers and wolves aren't mighty, so I'm able to do a charge through with the mummies and block up this unit here effectively. It's hindered, but again, our goal is to kind of chaff it up, and we need to eventually break through here. So, um, yeah, so I'm measuring to see if I can. I did get wavered. I'm measuring to see if I can back off without coming within an inch here, so that the troop can sneak in, but it can't. So let's see what we end up on here real quick. So I ended up on just front charging the prime, staying engaged over here. I'm looking currently at if I want to do an individual pivot, or not a pivot, and then use my surge to try and get these guys back in. The issue was I was going to be hit in the flank or the rear by the what's called these guys here. So I ended up deciding, you know what, there's some points to kill out here, and then I need to shut down this ranger. So my individual went after him. So yeah, so that's what we eventually decide on. We are just kind of delaying out here a little bit, wanting to play. Yeah, so I decide I'm just gonna charge in, guarantee the kill over here because I don't have my J boots anymore. Um, yeah, and I wanted to keep these guys inspired. So, but yeah, so not a whole lot going. Pretty straightforward here. We're gonna try drain life his ranger. We definitely want to shut him down, but I want to stay out of charge range of the ranger because he can, even though he doesn't have crushing or thunder, he can be pretty nasty into a war machine. Obviously, and he has 7 attacks this game, which is a lot. Yeah, so also, big thing, he didn't waver or take out the birds on this side of the board. So, 2 rounds of chaffing with the scavengers is definitely not uncommon. His units usually only do like 6 wounds to me, and they're in 11-13. So, very very happy that those fell my way for sure. Um, because the Bone Giant was an unfortunate piece to lose early. So, yeah, so just finishing up the final positionings, but ultimately, yeah, switching over there. Um, yeah, so back to my turn. All right, Tom's turn was really quick apparently. So yeah, ultimately I countercharged. I didn't kill anything. This is Tom's finishing up his turn here. Oh, I did kill the snow foxes here, and he ended up taking a rear with the snow foxes there, which was hindered because he was on the obstacle. And then his pack hunters went into the front, so he's trying to commit to the guardians this turn. Um, but the guardians did survive, luckily for me. And this is Tom finishing off the scavengers and reforming at this point. And yeah, so at this point, Tom, for the past 2 turns, the unit that Shobik's been engaged with, Tom has gone 5 for 5 on healing both turns. So this unit has recovered 10 out of its 12 wounds that I've done to it. Um, and so my initial plan is not working out as well as I'd hoped. He is healing like a machine currently, and Shobik definitely wanted to be through this unit in 2 or 3 turns. This has been his second turn, so we're hoping he gets through next turn, but they're only on 2 wounds, so it's a big ask right now. So yeah, yeah. But anyway, my turn, and I realize I'm pretty low on clock, so I'm moving pretty quickly here. But we'll take a look. So I'm just gonna chaff up again. Let Shobik do his thing. We're grinding with the mummies, which is great. Our troop of mummies is holding down his snow troll over here, which is what we want. I am doing a little something I don't think Tom had seen here. I was able to do an individual pivot with my cav base. I could see over my mummies and then charge his troop of half elf berserkers. So yeah, with that, um, I'm hoping to pop these guys in one turn because they're for a troop size base. They just put out a lot of damage, especially if Tom does a Bane chant on them. It can be really nasty. So I need to deal with those, and it's one of the benefits of me not breaking through this line of ice elementals yet, is he hasn't had to come through and and hit me with them, but I know eventually I have to get some kill points and I have to deal with them. So this unit is the first one that we're trying to do. And then from here, I'm just gauging, but I have to deal with this ranger. It's a pain in the ass, but I don't trust Drain Life to do it. So I'm looking at doing a surge into him from these guys here. So yeah, so we're gonna fast forward a bit here. I do end up deciding to do that. I get the surge. Over on this side, you'll see what I ended up doing was I countercharged the pack hunters, which slid me down a little bit so that the individual could charge the snow foxes, and then I could drain life into the snow foxes because they were just in the forest there. This allows my horde to face down the birds that are over here and not eat another snow fox rear charge, um, which is again why I try to take out these half elf berserkers as well, because this guy is the only thing from keeping my flank from getting turned currently. Um, so yeah, I think that we're actually doing a lot better on this right side than I expected, but not as well on the left side. So it's uh, it's interesting. But yeah, this is actually a big turn for me because I finally start getting some things, picking up some units and things going my way. So we'll see here a big one. This Snow Troll Prime died. Um, it had no business dying. The mummy, I think the prime had 2 wounds on it, and 10 attacks from a mummy troop. I think I ended up rolling like a 9 twice or a 10 twice to kill it, which is what I needed. Um, so that really opens up a lot of possibilities now that weren't there before. Because obviously I'm turning him in over here, and yeah, I was not expecting it, but happily surprised when it happened. So I did not kill the troop, which they're fearless, so it's going to hurt on the attack back. And the big news, that 10 for 10 heal Tom did over the past 2 turns. Shobik broke this unit once and then was one shy on the reroll of killing this unit. So if Tom was 9 out of 10, we would have also picked up this Snow Troll unit, or not Snow Trolls, Ice Elemental unit. Um, and that would have really had some possibilities going my way from here. So, um, yeah, I mean, sometimes better lucky than good, but I got lucky here. Tom was good with his heals over here, obviously. So, uh, yeah, so we'll just kind of skip forward a little bit here into Tom's turn. I ended up killing the ranger, but I didn't get a good reform. I was trying to do a little trick that uh, it just didn't work out. I misunderstood the rules of one of the abilities that the my lone wolf could do. I thought I could kill his ranger, do a reform, and my lone wolf special feat ability thing that he gets, I thought I could do an overrun after that. And since I had killed an individual, allow me to get another charge in. But rereading it, it was only after failing to kill a unit could you do one of those abilities. So it didn't end up working out the way I had hoped. And yeah, so I was put into this position by my lack of understanding those rules. So unfortunate. I think I'm going to lose the mummy regiment because of that mistake, but such is life. So um, Yeah, so Tom is shooting over here. These guys are pretty heavily wounded from after the combat and everything, so I am just keeping them looking that way to keep them alive and everything. So, but Tom is just grinding away at my lines here. So he does pick up the mummy unit, but he does have limited reform options. So this horde is facing this direction. So I could just do a surge, and it would be in the flank because of how we're positioned. But it's obviously hindered. Um, yeah. And then he did come in and do one wound to my uh, to Sevic Ray with the Snow Foxes, which is why he's kind of in an awkward position. But he also shut down my uh, Sevic Ray for this turn, so that's pretty big. And then the other really big thing was Tom failed to waver or break my wolf unit here, even though he bane chanted this troop. So having that unit available for this turn is a pretty big win for me, honestly. Um, so yeah, at this point, I'm looking at trying again. I want to take out these troops. I want to take out these troops. So I try my luck again. This time I pop my Cloak of Death, which is a big reason why I ended up going over to this side. Um, So yeah, I do a couple little fancy things here just because Shobik's been in combat for 3 turns in a row with this horde. It hasn't broken it. He's healed it again. I just don't feel confident that Shobik can continue to charge in here and not and break it. So I decided to go for a more safe play, and Shobik was able to just turn, move forward, get out of an inch of this unit, stay out of an inch of that unit, and then I got a surge into the rear of these ice elementals here, while also just declaring a charge in the front from these guys, hindered, hitting the flank of the snow foxes. Yeah, so I thought this was the safest play, and then it allows me to turn my entire line to look at the oncoming units that are left. Um, if I did the gamble and came in here, I don't think I kill this horde, and I think Shobik's just in a bad spot where he's going to get flanked or reared by something. So um, I just didn't like the positioning over here. This whole left side did not go how we had wanted it to, so I have to just reconsolidate at this point. Is my thought. So I do that. I move up, so I'm going to be draining life into the snow foxes, I believe, and just keep the heals going. Try to get Shobik back up to full. Sebek obviously can't cast this turn, but he moved over to get in inspiring range here. But I'm holding these birds out. They're outside of 20 inches of all these units here, but they're staying outside of 12 inches of my guardians. So if my guardians start backing up, he can start flying over, and then I definitely lose the game. So got to keep a buffer zone. I'm probably sitting at like 6 or 7 wounds right now with that unit. So it's kind of a gamble. That's why I wanted the inspiring. It's a gamble if Tom comes in, but if it pays off, I think he just clearly wins the game with that. Um, and then my individual went into the already heavily damaged troop to try and finish it off. Yeah, so we're doing what we can. It's just a neck and neck game when it comes to kill. It's really tough to determine who's ahead at this point, but um, we're just fighting for every point we can get at this point. It's what is this, top of 5, I believe, so it's pretty late in the game. I'm gonna skip ahead here a bit. So I end up killing the troop. I end up killing the horde. I kill the snow foxes. This is after Tom's movement. But I decided Shobik's going to turn around, look this way. I know I'm going to cop a flank from something. I just absolutely could not give up a rear. So I turned in such a way that he had no way of getting a rear. He could only get a front and a flank, and that's what he's setting up. He's going to do some shoot and scoots over here. So, and then he's just maneuvering a little bit with the rest of the units. Big news though, that snow fox troop that I killed was the one that I had targeted, so it was worth quite a bit of extra victory points. 150 victory points swing my way, and he doesn't get a 75-point bonus for that. So very happy with that. The only thing that could have gone better is if we had killed the troop back here. We were one shy of killing this unit, but if we did kill it, I think we're in a really good position to threaten a win because he can't turn around and surge into my individual. My individual is going to be threatening his ice queens back here. But I probably don't even worry about the ice queens. I probably go straight for the elementals at that point. Um, but either way, didn't happen. So unfortunately. But this is bottom five for Tom, and he is just kind of finishing up everything. So he's shooting here. His shooting wasn't great. Um, yeah, so he ended up shooting and then surging both of them, getting in. He did go over here, which is a big thing. He has one more turn. He has turn 6 that he could have pumped some shots into this, get a couple more wounds on it, and then charge. But he decided he's going to charge this turn because if he breaks it this turn, he has rears, and he will undoubtedly win the game at that point, picking up almost everything of mine for the rest of the game. So it's a big gamble, and really the game kind of ended up on this decision, this shot over here. So let's go ahead and get through it. Oh, yeah, that was my turn. My turn was really quick at this point because I only have a couple minutes left on the clock. So yeah, so he ends up killing Shobik. Um, which was actually a lot closer than it should have been. I think he only got Shobik up to like 11 wounds between all the shooting, all the combat. Um, yeah, it should have been a lot closer to just a snake eye roll, but the dice god said, "Yep, we did it right. You still got the 7 twice that you needed." So um, yeah, it was good though. So he killed it. His reforms. So I am not really in a position after these reforms to do any sort of surge shenaniganry because of good positioning with the Snow Troll Prime. But this horde is still wounded from before, so I decide to just go into it. Big news, I held over here against the birds. I want to guarantee the kill, so I move Soul Snare over so that I can drain life into them, heal my guys, and then these guys will be alive. The the big thing though is that I move my inspiring away, so I'm trying to guarantee the kill or at the very least a waiver. But I move my inspiring away, so these guys are heavily damaged, and I don't think my drain life did a whole lot, but I'm up to like 8 to 10 wounds at this point. Um, so I'm hoping to pick up another ice elemental horde and then just withstand the charges on the last turn. Uh, because I'm down to, I think you can see here, like 4 minutes left. So if we go to a turn 7, I wanted to have enough time to finish off. So I do that. I end up killing the Ice Elemental Horde, and this is how we end up facing. So keeping the Snow Troll in the front, staying perfectly parallel with his unit, so there's no like sidestep action and surge in. Um, yeah. So, but he did kill my wolf back here with his troop. So we are unable to prevent that flank from coming in. But my thought is, well, if he comes in with the flank on that unit, he can't shoot and surge in then. So I was kind of okay with allowing that to happen. he this is a fully healed unit of enslaved guardians, so it's not a gimme by any means. But Tom here had an interesting decision, and I think if he knew exactly how close this game was and where the points were, I think he would have made a different choice. But right now, he can commit 100% into this unit, guarantee a kill. And that kill honestly puts us just dead even, like within like 50 points of each other kill wise. But something that he does have is this troop can charge my cheapest unit here. That's Revenant Champ that's made his way all the way across the board, picking up some snow foxes along the way. He ended up over here. He could charge, hit, kill the individual, which then, if he kills the individual, he can get an overrun, and I believe it's going to be into the flank of. It's probably a front actually because he has to pivot a little bit, and then yeah, so it's probably a front. But he could kill that individual, which is worth a lot of points right now. In fact, it's worth more than this horde is worth currently. So um, Tom definitely looked at it, acknowledged it, considered it, but said, "I'm gonna charge this." And I think a big reason why he did that is because this unit's so wounded over here. He was able to get an angle to shoot with his pack hunters, and I'm uninspired, so he was trying to pick up a kill on both my enslaved guardians at the very end. He does not get the kill on this unit. Thankfully for me, I think he needed like a 7 one time is all. Um, but I got lucky that that didn't happen. He picks up the kill for those guys, and is positioning in such a way that only thing I could get is his troop with anything at this point. But turn 7 roll, and it's a 1. So the game is over, and it was a hell of a game. Did not go how I had planned, but we fought tooth and nail. I don't think at any point in the game one of us was just clearly dominating the other. It just seemed like it was just a basic, good old back and forth fist fight. Which that's kind of all we can ask for. So in the end, with I don't think we added the 200 points for the characters in together, but in the end, Tom was ahead by 50 kill points. But because I had my cheapest unit alive at the end, and I had killed his, that was 150 points. Or yeah, let me make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, so 150 points because I killed his least expensive unit, and then 75 points for keeping mine alive. So that was a 225 point swing, which Tom was ahead by 50 points. So that put me ahead by 150 and just squeaks into the 11-9 bracket. So it was, like I said, it was a really good game. And I think an 11-9 is, or even a 10-10 was an appropriate outcome based off of how close it ended up. I was very glad there wasn't a turn 7. I don't think I actually win much out of a turn 7. And I have to just hope that he doesn't kill that enslaved guardian unit at the very end as well. So, um, yeah, just a great game by Tom. As best as I could expect. It was very tactical. I don't think any of us made any huge major mistakes. There's a couple of advantageous situations that I tried to take and exploit, but then a couple of things that Tom was able to mitigate. So really tactical, but just a smash game, which I was hoping for a little bit more of a scenario play, is all. But had a great time hanging out with Tom and Paul. We were up all night playing different games, so really, definitely want to make it out their way in the UK sometime. especially if the other guys in the UK are anything like them. Would have a blast doing that. So Clash of Kings UK is definitely on my wish list. So it's not going to happen this year, but I'm hoping in the near future. And then maybe Tom can reclaim the title that I currently hold of the true master. So, but all jokes aside, was excellent game. Really enjoyed playing you, Tom, and would hang out with you anytime. So I go into next round with 11 points. So Tom and I have a lot of work to do for the rest of the tournament to kind of get up there and get on top. So I appreciate everybody for watching game one, and we'll see you in game two.